Hey, what's up, everybody? Benji Bruce here with Speaking Lifestyle, and welcome to the show, right? So today we're essentially going to talk about the 11 steps and just setting up your sales pipeline, your event pipeline to get you on stages. And so if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask them. Actually, let me refresh this so I can kind of see and watch along with everybody here. So let's see. All right. If this thing will refresh. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just make sure you ask some questions. I'm going to show you guys how to actually build out your entire sales pipeline to get yourself on stages just consistently. And now I can't actually find this thing. So let's see. All right, there we go. Okay, so let me actually get going. So who's here? David, what's up, David? Leslie, how's it going, Leslie? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? I can't see who's joining in, so I can only see when you guys comment on something. So what's up, everybody? But yeah, we are going to go over the 11-step process, basically. So let me show you guys my screen here. So the other day I created this, right? I created this 11-step process to kind of set everything up, because I was sitting here, I was going through the Event Finder section, and I thought to myself, okay, said, how do I make this thing even more simple than what it actually is? And so that's kind of what was going through my head in terms of building out this 11-step process. So let's see who else is here. Jeffrey, what's up, Jeffrey? This is easier to read over here. Barbara, how's it going, Barbara? Roberto, Debo, I hope I said that right. Debo, I'm pretty sure it's Debo. Maybe it's Deborah, but it's Debo, all right. Lisa, I think I said that right. All right, and Ricardo, what's up, Ricardo? Yeah, so guys, essentially what I'm going to show you is the process, because I sat back and I thought, with Industry Icon, I created these steps that everyone needs to take to accomplish the end goal, right? And I thought, I didn't do that for Event Finder for some reason. With Event Finder, there's all this training in there, but there was never the steps in terms of saying, set this up first, then do this, then do this, then do this, and then do this, and then do this. So I didn't actually have the steps, and I realized maybe I should put the steps in there, right? So if you get this, then you will essentially have your entire system set up, and you will be good to go to actually get booked on stages. And I'm going to do an entire boot camp thing around these 11 steps as well. But this is essentially what you guys need to have set up. What's up, John? So let's do this. And by the way, guys, so if you guys actually go into Event Finder, you'll see that. But the 11 steps are this. So step 1 is the event profile. Your CRM setup is number 2. Step 3 are your email templates. Step 4 is finding the events. Step 5 is building out a list of leads. Step 6 is contacting the leads. Step 7 is pitching the leads. Step 8 is follow up with the leads. Step 9 is convert the lead into a deal. Step 10 is quote the fee. And step 11 is get the deposit. Now I'm going to go over all that stuff, but I just wanted to show you the steps. And essentially what you're going to do is you have to set up a system in your business. And I realized this a long time ago, because whenever you go up to any speaker, wherever you go up to anyone really, it can be a real estate agent or anyone, you ask them, how do you get business? Almost always they will say word of mouth or referrals. And what that really means is I don't have a process. What that really means is I don't know. That's essentially what they're saying, but they just use word of mouth and referrals as another reason to kind of sound smart, to sound like they know what they're doing. And when it comes to speaking, just building up your speaking business and getting on stages, you can't do that. You can't depend on word of mouth and referrals. It doesn't matter how good you are as a speaker. They do not bring you back next year because they want something different. And I realized that a long time ago, especially in the corporate market, college market, whatever market, they do not want the same speaker every year because they just want something different. And so you have to have this process put in place, a system put in place where you say, all right, step 1, step 2, step 3, bam, gig booked. And when you have a process in place, you're going to simply just repeat it over and over and over. And so I essentially created this, the 11-step pipeline that you guys need to have set up. And we're going to go over all these 11 steps. If you guys are a SpeakPro member or an Event Finder member, you will have access to it. You already do have access to it. I put it inside of Event Finder. I'll also put it in the resources section. But let's talk about step number 1. And by the way, guys, you can ask questions whenever you want. So I'll make sure that I'll go through the questions as well. So All right, cool. So I'll keep going. So step number one that you guys need to actually have set up is the event profile. So the event profile basically says, here are the events that I'm going to go after. And the event profile, what we do is there's this whole avatar, this whole worksheet, actually. So let me go here. So there's like this whole worksheet I kind of built out for everyone to where it's kind of like you determine your perfect event. But basically what you want to do is you need to essentially say, here are the events that I'm going to go after. Otherwise, you won't know what events to actually go after. So that's just step number one. It's just like with anything where you say, here's my market, here's my customer profile. That's what that is, except you're creating an event profile. And what you do with the event profile is you essentially say, like, okay, I'm going to go after sales events, and I know that the VP of sales, that's the person I want to talk to. I know that the problem that they have when they're bringing in sales speakers is they're thinking, okay, well, how do I bring in a sales speaker who knows about our industry and who can be engaging and entertaining from the stage, who won't get destroyed by my salespeople? So they're thinking of all this, and you're building out this event profile. So that's the first thing. First thing you do. The next thing you do is after you have the event profile, you know what events you're going after. Now you do your CRM. So you set up your CRM. And the CRM, I've created a video on this before, but basically your CRM is going to help you with your entire process. Your CRM is your sales pipeline pretty much. And when you set up your CRM, I always tell people, if you can keep track of everything that you're doing inside of your head, then you're just not doing enough. There's no way you can keep track of all this in your head. When you can find 100 events per day and then you're putting all that into your CRM, that's what the CRM is for, to keep track of all that. If you can keep track of that in your head, if you can keep track of 10 events that you contacted in your head, then you're just not doing enough to get on stage consistently. So you need a CRM. So after we have your event profile set up, then we set up your CRM. Inside of the CRM, there's a couple things that we get set up. So we set up your pipeline. In the pipeline is basically, it's just a step-by-step process. It's just, all right, so the pipeline is, here's the leads, so you generate leads, then you're going to eventually convert the leads into a deal, and then once you convert them, there's going to be, there's 5 steps inside of the pipeline. So essentially you say, okay, once they express interest, they're now incoming, then the next thing I do is I ask questions and I quote the fee and so on, right? And so that's kind of what you do inside of the CRM. You set up your pipeline. First thing you do, as soon as you buy a CRM, pipeline setup, bam. After that, you're going to set up a lead score. So the lead score, you might have heard me talk about this, is it basically says, here's how I know which events are going to pay me. That's what we're going to set up inside of the lead score. So once you have your event profile set up, you now go into your CRM, you set the CRM up in terms of the pipeline. Now you say, all right, let me set up this lead score. A lead score is just like a checklist to where you say, I know that events, annual employee events, I know that's good. I know events with 300 plus employees are good. I know events with that hired motivational speakers in the past are good. I know that events that are seminars, those are bad. I know conferences are bad. So you set up what's called a lead score inside of your CRM. That way you know, here are the events that I should focus on. Here are the events that I should ignore. So that's kind of what you're doing there. So we're still in the CRM setup. This is still just part number 2, right? After you set up the lead score section, now you create the custom fields inside of your CRM. The custom fields inside of your CRM is basically going to help you when you send out the emails. It's like we're going to build out the email templates, right? And once you build out the email templates, you have it's called mail merge. That's what it's called. So mail merge, what that does is it kind of inserts a person's name into the email or inserts whatever you want into the email. So I could say, hi, and then first name. I'm the greatest speaker in the world, blah, blah, blah. And what it'd do is it'd say, hi, John, or hi, Jeffrey. So it essentially insert your name in there. So you create what's called a mail merge. And you do that through the custom fields, right? So you're setting up these custom fields inside of your CRM. And then after you set up the custom fields, then you set up what's called a sales cadence. A sales cadence basically tells you, here are the steps that I'm going to take every single day with each lead. So a sales cadence basically, it helps you stay productive. It says, on day 1, I'm going to send an email. On day 3, I'm going to send another email. On day 5, I'm going to make a call and send an email. On day 10, I'm going to send another email, make another call. And so what essentially that does is it tells you, all right, here are the steps that I'm personally going to take every day to follow up with this lead. So that way you're very clear about what it is you need to do every day. Once again, it's all systems. So you're inside of your CRM. You're setting all this up inside of your CRM. You haven't done any of it yet. You've just set it up inside of there, so that way you know what you're going to eventually do to get on stages and to get the gigs, right? And then all of this is inside of your CRM. Usually has two sections. There's a lead section, and then there's a deals section. The leads or either leads or opportunities, or leads and deals. The opportunities and deals are the same thing inside of a CRM, but every CRM is different in terms of what they name it. But basically, you have a lead section and a deal section. And so in the lead section, you set all that up. You set up your pipeline, you set up your lead score, you set up your custom fields, and you set up your sales cadence. You set those up inside of your lead section. Then in the deals section, you only need a couple things set up inside of there. You set up your lead score inside of the deals section, and you set up your sales cadence inside of the deals section. So that's essentially what you're doing with your CRM. That's a lot, but you can get this done in about an hour, especially with all the stuff like inside of Event Finder, right? So let me show you guys this. So when I say that you need all that stuff set up, what I mean is you're essentially going to copy and paste stuff into your CRM. That's kind of what you're really doing, right? So it's kind of like with the sales cadence. Actually, I still need to add it over here, the sales cadence. But let's see, what was I over here? So like here, your lead score, right? So essentially, a lead score is just a checklist, and all you're doing is you're essentially going to just copy the lead score and copy the checklist from over here on the right side, and you're going to paste it inside of your CRM. So that's kind of what you're essentially going to do with the whole process. Once you have the CRM set up, the next step is you're going to have your email templates set up. The email templates, once again, let me show you this. So the email templates, let's go here. So all of this, by the way, once again, it's all inside of your CRM. You're just going to copy and paste this stuff inside of your CRM. So all these email templates, you just copy and paste all this stuff inside of your CRM. Bam, you're good to go. You should get that done, and it shouldn't even take an hour. It just depends on how fast you can copy and paste stuff. But that's essentially what you're going to do with step number 3. So far, by the way, this sounds like difficult, especially if you don't really know this stuff. It sounds difficult, but all you're literally doing is copying and pasting, like when you go through this process, right? So step number 1, remember, you set up your event profile. You're like, here are the events that I'm going after. You fill out a sheet, or you go into Google Docs, you fill out this sheet, and you say, here's the events. Step number 2 is you start to customize your CRM. You customize it with the pipeline. You set up your pipeline. You set up your lead score. You set up your custom fields. You set up your sales cadence, and then that's pretty much what you have to have set up inside of your CRM. After you set those up, the 5th thing is your email templates. So you just put your email templates inside of your CRM or inside of whatever software you're using, like Yesware or something like that. So now you set up your email templates. Once you have that set up, all that technically it won't even take more than a day, because literally you're just copying and pasting stuff. Once you have all that set up, now you got to actually write your own pitch template. So this is where it's about pitching you as a speaker. So if you're a sales speaker, your pitch is going to be a little different than me as a motivational speaker. And then based on your talents, maybe you can juggle or something, or maybe you're a funny speaker, your pitch is going to be different than mine. So you're going to talk about, if you're a funny speaker, you're going to say, it's the most hilarious presentation that people will ever see in their lives. So you're going to write out your pitch template. So that's going to be the next step. After that, you're essentially going to put, step 4 is finding the events, right? Once again, the finding the events, it's all about templates. It's all about, let me show you guys this. So once again, the finding the events, you simply take these hashtags and these keywords, and you now you create a document. So this is my document. What you essentially do is you just copy and paste my document into your own document, and then you just add to it eventually, right? So you now create your own document for finding the events. Once you have that set up in terms of finding the events, and you have it all into a document, you have your list of ways to find events, you have your hashtags and all that to find events. Now comes the implementation part. Now, I'm going to talk about the implementation part in just a second, but I know I kind of went fast with steps 1 through 4. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them right now. And what's up, Alan? I see Alan's here as well. So basically, I'm going to go over those steps again in terms of the steps to set up your event pipeline. And basically, when you set this up, your entire event pipeline, this is your system to get booked on stages. Like this is everything you do to get booked on stages. So number 1, you set up an event profile. You say, here are the events that I'm going after. 2, you set up your CRM. 3, you set up your email templates. And then 4, you set up your finding events documents. I don't know what else to call those, but just finding events documents. And so that's step 4. I'm going to start going on to the rest. Let's see. Betsy said, are all the steps and the PDFs in the lead gen program? Yeah, so Betsy, if you go inside of the Event Finder program, so let me show you guys. So if you guys go inside of Event Finder, you'll find it right here. It's like I just added this, so you'll find it right here. Literally, as soon as you click on the Event Finder, you'll find it there. For SpeakPro members, I'll also put it inside the resources section. But so Glenn said, been here. All right, just now checking in. All right, cool. What's up, Todd? All right, so any other questions about the first 4 steps in terms of what you guys need to do with that? And by the way, guys, so on let me see when I'm going to do this. So next Monday, so on the 16th, we're going to actually go over these steps. That way I can actually make sure that everyone has their CRM set up the right way, everyone has their pipeline set up the right way. So on the 16th, on April 16th, next week on Monday, we're going to go over these steps for all SpeakPro Academy members. So if you're not a member yet, you want to go through this whole bootcamp session, then make sure you join the SpeakPro Academy. It's only $299 a month, or you can pay for the lifetime, which is $5,000 for a lifetime access. But this is essentially what we're going to have set up. So let me go over the next steps here. So let me go over that again. Step 1 is the event profile. Step 2 is the CRM setup. You set up everything inside of your CRM. Step 3 are the email templates you put in place. Step 4 are the finding events documents. Step 5 is essentially the implementation. Step 5 and beyond is now implementation. So this is where you essentially build your list of leads. So all you do at this moment is you simply take that list, the list from step 4 that you have in place. You take that list, you just pick one method, you just pick one. There's like tons of methods, but you just pick one method and you just implement that. And you implement that until you get 100 leads, until you get 100 events, or just implement it all day. If let's say you're working and you only have 2 hours or 3 hours in a day to actually implement, then you're obviously not going to find 100 leads. Maybe you'll find I don't know, let's say like 20 leads or something. So just do that in the amount of time that you can possibly do. If you have 2-3 hours, you can get 20, 30, 40 leads, however, in 2-3 hours. And that's essentially step number 5. So you're going to build up your list of leads. Step number 6, you're going to start to contact those leads. So at that moment, you're going to start to implement the actual email templates that you put in place inside of your CRM. So at that moment, you're going to say, all right, let me click this and click this, boom, send. You're going to do like 2-3 clicks and then bam, you send out the first email template. You're good to go. At that moment, the way the system is set up is that you're now going to wait for a response, and most of them do respond the way it's set up. And so then once you contact the leads, now they're going to respond. You're going to pitch them, right? So you send out email number 1. They're going to respond. Now you pitch them in the next email. And then for those who don't respond, once again, we have the follow-up system in place. So you're now just going to follow up. You're going to follow the email templates that we have set up in, step number 3. So step number 3 has all your follow-up sequences in place. So for the events that do not respond, you're going to just follow the email templates and just follow up, and then you're good to go with that. Step 7, once again, you pitch the leads. So at this moment, you just pitch them. So remember earlier in, step 3, where you wrote your email template. Well, now in step 7, you're going to use that email template. You're now going to respond, and you're going to pitch them. At this moment, when you pitch them, a few things are going to happen. Most of them, you're going to have to go through the whole follow-up sequence. So for the people who don't respond, you're going to go back into your CRM, go back into the email templates, go through the follow-up sequence, go through those emails, and just bam, just send them out. Just send those out, and you're simply going to follow up, right? Now, at this moment, when you're following up, step number 9 is you're going to convert a lead into a deal. So whenever people express any sort of interest, whenever they say, well, what do you charge? And they express any sort of interest, you convert that lead into a deal. So you convert the event into a deal, into an opportunity, right? So once they've been converted into the opportunity, you now just follow the process. So let me show you guys the process. Oops, wrong thing. Let's see. So you guys are going to follow this. And you've seen me post this before, so you're going to follow this. They're going to ask questions, or you're going to ask them questions, and you're essentially going to follow those steps, right? So that's kind of that's what step 9 is. You convert a lead into a deal. And then after you convert that lead into a deal, you're going to ask them questions about the event. And when they respond, you're going to essentially start going through the sequence. You're going to quote your fee, and then you're going to eventually get the deposit, which is step number 11, right? But those are basically the steps. That's the entire sequence. Those are the entire steps that you're going to follow in order to actually get booked consistently. But once you have your sales pipeline set up, you literally follow it step by step. And on the 16th, next week, we're going to set all this up with all SpeakPro Academy members. That way, everyone is on the same page. So that way, we're going to have your CRM set up. We're going to have your pipeline set up. We're going to have your email templates put in place. We're going to put all this stuff in place. That way, you guys know, all right, I'm going to do this. Step number 1, if they don't respond, then I do this. If they do respond, then I do this. You guys need to have systems. No matter what, you need to put systems in place. You need to systematize your process. That way, you're not one of those speakers who are just like, hey, the way I get gigs is through referrals, word of mouth, referrals. That's how I roll. So you got to actually have a system in place, and so those are the steps. Any questions about anything? You guys can ask questions if you like. But once again, I'll go through the steps. I know I went through it kind of fast, but I'm going to go through it again. So step number 1 is you set up your event profile. Step number 2 is you set up your CRM. Step number 3 is you put the email templates inside of the CRM. Step number 4 is you put your finding events document in place. Step number 5 through 11 is going to be implementation. So step number 5 is you build up your list of leads. Step number 6 is you contact the events. Step number 7 is you follow up with the leads. Step number 7 is you pitch the leads. Step number 8 is you follow up with the leads. Step number 9 is you convert the lead into a deal. Step number 10 is you quote your fee. And step number 11 is you get the gig booked. The money's in the bank. And by the way, the gig isn't yours until the money is in the bank. So just make sure that I thought I shut it off for a second. That's why I paused. I thought I was talking to myself for like 5 minutes. But yeah, basically those are the steps that you guys need to have in place. Let's see. Glenn said, what happened? So Glenn, what do you mean what happened? Can you not see me or something? So I'm not sure what you mean by what happened. Sharon said, I'm a new SpeakPro member, and it's helpful to hear you talk about these steps. All right, cool. Yeah, Sharon, on Monday, next Monday, we're going to go over these steps. It's going to be a daily thing. So day 1, we're going to do step number 1. Day 2 is step number 2, and we're going to do this on a daily basis to make sure that you build everything out the right way. So David said, sometimes when I'm looking on a site for contact info, they have a form and not an email address as a contact. What is a workaround for that, and your advice on how to use your system when you encounter a form? So when you encounter forms, so what you're going to do is you're going to create tags inside of your CRM. And the tags is essentially you're going to have one tag as contact form. And then when you encounter an event that has a contact form, you just hit the tag inside of your CRM. You just check mark that tag. Then you're going to come back to those events later on. When you go back to those events, you're going to fill out the form, except you're going to use a plugin. There's like several plugins on Google Chrome, so make sure you download a Chrome extension to fill out contact forms. And then what you're going to do is on that contact form fill out plugin thing, you're going to essentially have all your main information in there, like your email, your name, phone number. You're going to have all that information. You click a button, bam, it's going to fill it out just automatically. And now you're just going to go into your email templates, copy and paste the email template into the contact form and hit send, and that's it. So it's the same thing in terms of what you're doing. The difference is that you're not contacting them at that very moment. And the reason you don't contact them at that very moment is just because you want to get focused. Like, you want to get into the zone in terms of what you're doing. And when you are contacting events, you get into the zone by doing one thing. And you get into the zone by saying, all I'm going to do is send out this email in this way. And that's how you get into the zone. If you come across a contact form, what's going to happen is when you're in the zone and then bam, the contact form is right there, it's going to get you out of the zone because you're going to be like, oh, wow, this is different. This is different than normal. So now you're going to get out of the zone. You won't get as focused. So that's why you create a tag inside of your CRM and you go back to it later. So you create these tags inside of your CRM, and let's say after maybe 50 websites that have contact forms, you now go into there and now you say, all right, all I'm going to do for the next 30 minutes is just contact these websites that have the contact forms. So that's kind of what you're doing with that. So let's see. Todd said, I use Dashlane for forms and passwords. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to check that out, Todd. Dashlane, that sounds cool. All right, so what is a good... Yep. So Betsy, check out Dashlane. I don't actually know the name of the plugins that I use just because I downloaded them a long time ago. So I would actually have to go in there and check and look to see stuff. But all you got to do is go to Google Chrome extensions and type in plugin form or form filler or something like that, fill out forms automatically, and then something will pop up and just look to see what has the best reviews and then use that one and just test out different ones, and then eventually you'll find a good one. So any other questions about what you guys need to do in terms of the actual steps? And by the way, guys, like I mentioned, next week, Monday, April 16th, we are going to be doing a bootcamp session for all SpeakPro Academy members where we're going to go over these steps, and I'm going to make sure you guys have everything in place. I'm going to make sure your CRM set up the right way. I'm going to make sure your email templates are set up the right way. I'm going to make sure you have your documents set up the right way for you to find the events. Then we're going to start to implement on steps 5 through 11 all the way to following up and everything, so you're kind of practicing the process. Let's see. LastPass is also a great option for forms and passwords. Cool. Yeah, so check out LastPass as well. But yeah, basically in terms of the actual tools, so a lot of people get caught up on specific tools, whereas what you want to do is you want to get a system built out. It's not about the tools, because tools are eventually going to change. They're going to get updated. They're going to go out of business, all sorts of stuff. The thing is, you just get the system, just get the process down, then eventually you'll just be able to get on stages. You'll have a system built out, and then you'll be able to replace tools. So it's like the email system that I use now, or let's say the CRM that I use now is called Base CRM. So it doesn't matter what CRM I use. I can use Salesforce, HubSpot, Base, Pipedrive, Zoho, all the other million CRMs out there. I can use any one of them. The process is the same. I know how to build out a system inside of the CRM because I know the system process. So the actual tool, whether it's Base CRM or Salesforce, none of that actually matters. What matters is knowing how to set up the system. When you have the system in place, you can now go from tool to tool, and the process is the same. So that's what you essentially want to do, is you want to set up your systems. That's what we're going to do next week on Monday if you're a SpeakPro Academy member. If you're not a member, join. It's SpeakProAcademy.com. It's $2.99 a month, or you can pay for a yearly option, which is $19.97 a year, $1,997 a year, or you can get a lifetime access for $5,000 for lifetime. You never have to pay anything ever again. All the extra stuff that's added, you'll have access to and everything. SpeakPro Academy, I mean, if you guys aren't part of SpeakPro Academy, come on now, come on. SpeakPro Academy has everything. We do weekly calls. We have a private group where I answer all your questions. We go through, like anything you need help with, I help you. I help you guys get on stages. So let's see. Any other questions about the process? I'll go over the process again in just a second. But any other questions? Yep, Betsy says SpeakPro Academy is worth every penny. Yes, indeed. And as you guys can see, I just keep adding stuff to it. I'm just like, well, how can I make this thing more simple? And just recently I added this event pipeline, this 11-step event pipeline. I just keep thinking of how can I make this better? How can I make it more simple to accomplish all the stuff? So let's see. Felicia said, will you be offering a discount for a SpeakPro Academy in the near future? All right, Felicia. Apparently you haven't followed me for too long. So if you guys have followed me a while ago, you will know that SpeakPro Academy started out at $500. Now it is $5,000. I do not ever offer discounts, ever. I do not offer refunds, ever. Mostly because, so let me go on the discounts. Number one, it's worth, like Betsy said, it's worth every penny. There's so much inside SpeakPro Academy, it would be ridiculous for me to offer discounts. I mean, I've made it as affordable as possible. I do not ever offer discounts. If anything, I do the exact opposite. I keep increasing the price. So that's why in the beginning it was $500, now it's $5,000, and eventually it will get to a point where I won't even be able to do the weekly calls. I won't be able to answer as many questions inside of our private group because I will just be too busy to do any of that stuff. So eventually it will get to that point, and in that case, I mean, it's kind of like, well, should have joined earlier type thing. So I do not offer any discounts ever. And then I also do not ever offer refunds. The reason why I do not offer refunds is because people don't implement and then they blame the guru for not implementing. You either go all in or get out. I'm not interested in wannabe entrepreneurs. I'm not interested in people who say, oh, let me try it for 30 days. And then on the 28th day, they're like, oh, you know what? I want my money back. No. I'm looking for people who say, this is what I know I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I will figure it out no matter what. Those are the people I'm looking for. I'm not looking for people who are absolutely scared and terrified and want a 30-day money-back guarantee. So that's why I don't offer refunds. There is an exception, though. The exception is the first program that people get offered. So when people sign up to the list, they get offered a $49 program. And this is a program where I say, hey, there's a money-back guarantee on this. The reason I do this is more because they don't know who I am. So they just heard about me. They just signed up to the list. Now I'm like, hey, pay me. So they don't know who I am. And that's the reason why I offer PayPal and why I say here's a 30-day money-back guarantee. That way they can kind of get to know who I am. But in terms of everything else, I say, look, guys, there's the free information that we provide on Speak and Lifestyle is better than anyone else's paid programs. That's just a fact. I will put my program up against anybody's program. It's just a fact. So I tell people I don't want wannabe entrepreneurs. We don't discount it or nothing. All right. So any questions about getting on stages or anything? But yeah, like I said, guys, if you aren't part of SpeakPro Academy, I do whatever it takes to help people get on stages. So let's see. Sharon said, I've done a lot of speaking, but never got any tape or testimonials. I now realize how bad that was. Anything I can do to call on that credibility, even though I don't have tape on it? Not really. So, I mean, you can essentially say that you've done a presentation for XYZ. Let's say you did it for Keller Williams. You can say, hey, I did it for Keller Williams, but the video testimonials, that's where the bread and butter is. So there's really nothing you can do about that. Yep. All right, so any other questions? I'm going to go over these 11 steps again. So let me go over these 11 steps again. But here's essentially what we're going to implement on Monday, on the 16th. So step number one, first thing we're going to do is set up your event profile. This is essentially saying, here are the events that I'm going to go after. These are the events that I want to get hired by. So we're going to set up your event profile. Step number two is we're going to set up your CRM. So the CRM, it's not going to take long. You're literally going to copy and paste stuff. If you did this by yourself, it will take a while because you got to write your own email templates, which is a lot. You got to create your own lead score. You got to create your own fields and all that. But what you're going to do is you're just going to duplicate what I already have in place. So step number two is you're going to set up your CRM. So inside of the CRM, you're going to set up your pipeline. So we're going to go inside CRM. We're going to change up the pipeline to make sure you have the process. Then we're going to set up your lead score. So the lead score is going to tell you, here are the events that are going to pay me, that's going to pay you. So you set up your lead score. Then we're going to create the custom fields inside of your CRM. So these are fields like, what are the previous speakers they hired? What's the date of their event? So it's just going to be fields like that. Then we're going to set up your sales cadence inside of the CRM. And then we're going to put your email templates in place. So step three is going to be your email templates. Once you get all these email templates in place, you're now going to write out your email pitch. So this is probably going to be the hardest part for most speakers, is to write out their pitch, because there's no possible way I can there's no possible way I can say follow this exact template and just send this template out. Because if you're a funny speaker, your pitch is going to be different than a sales speaker, and that's going to be different than a juggler. And so your email pitch is what we're going to really talk about as well. So you're going to put all this in place. Then after you have your email templates in place, you're now going to put your finding events document. You're going to copy and paste my document into your own document, so you have your own thing set up. Then step 5 is we're going to start building a list of leads. So you're going to just build up a list, and even if you only have 30 minutes, I'm going to have you build up a list of at least 2 leads. Like I don't care if you're the busiest person alive. I'm going to say, look, you're going to build up a list of leads. I don't care if it's just 2 leads. You're going to build up a list of leads. So step 5, you're going to build up a list of leads. Then step 6, you're going to contact those leads. And then we're going to go through the whole process. Step 7 is you're going to pitch the leads. Step 8 is you're going to follow up with the leads. Step 9 is you're going to convert any of those good leads into deals. Step 10 is you'll quote your fee. And step 11 is you get the deposit in terms of actually getting the gig. So let's see. Someone on Fiverr may help you write a pitch. No. So Todd, you don't want, no one can help you write a pitch. So it's like, so no one knows you as a speaker, and when you pitch events, it all depends on what they just said. So it all depends on the event itself. So if I know that they hired Tony Robbins in the past, I'm going to talk about how they hired Tony Robbins in the past. So it's a matter of what the event is. If I'm talking to Salesforce, the company Salesforce, I'm going to talk about maybe Mark Benioff. So if they're what was their event? Dreamforce, right? So their event, Dreamforce. Mark Benioff, I mean, they have like, they used to have, he was like an impersonator of Mark Benioff, and he would have fun over there. So I would talk about that. I would be like, hey, I noticed back in 2016, you guys have this impersonator of Mark Benioff. I thought that was hilarious, right? And then I'll go into the pitch. So you can't really have someone else write your pitch for you. That's why it's so hard for most speakers, because there is no template. Your pitch will always change based on who you're talking to, based on the event that you're talking to. So let's see. His pitch bored me within 1 minute. Whose pitch? So yeah. Any other questions about the process that you guys are going through to actually get on stages, or the process that we're going to build out with this boot camp thing coming up next week, next Monday? Any questions? I'll wait for a hot second, because I know there's a little delay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, guys, make sure you guys have systems in place, because in terms of, if you have your system in place, you know everything that you should be doing. So like once an event contacts you, you know, all right, here's the step I take. Once you contact the event and they don't respond, you know, here's a step I take. If they don't respond again, you know, here's a step I take. If you send a contract out and then they don't send the contract back, you know, because you have the email template set up, you're like, here's a step I take. So when you have your system set up, you know what to do every step of the way, because it's just built out. You build it out once and you're good to go from that point on. So any other questions about the system, the process that you guys need to have set up to actually get on stages? I'll wait for a couple seconds in terms of I know there's a delay. So let's see. One question said, why do you look so sexy? The other question said, oh my goodness, I wish everyone was like you. Okay. Actually, no, nobody's saying this. So let's see. Brent said, do you know what time these boot camp sessions will be? So I think I set up as at 10 a.m. So yeah, I mean, you guys will get an email about it tomorrow, but yeah, I think I have it set up at 10 a.m., either 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. It's one of those times in terms of the actual sessions. But basically, we're going to do this more than once, by the way. So we're just going to keep doing these just nonstop. That way everyone knows, everyone builds their thing out the right way to begin with. So let's see. What are the time frames between not hearing back? So Todd, that's something that you're going to set up inside of your sales cadence, right? So with your sales cadence, the sales cadence basically tells you, so day one I'm going to send this out, and then I'm going to wait, and day 3, I'm going to send a follow-up email, and then day 6, I'm going to do this. And so that's why you set up your sales cadence, right? So that's kind of what you're doing with that. Let's see. Please refer to numbers 10 and 11, please. Thank you. Numbers 10 and 11 is basically you quote your fee, and number 11 is you get the deposit. So the quoting your fee and getting the deposit, this is just the end part of you getting on a stage, right? So at the very end, you're going to quote your fee, and what happened when you quote your fee is one of two things. Either one, they're going to be like, okay, cool, send us a contract, and then once again, you follow up the process that we put in place in terms of following up with a contract, or 2, they won't respond to you. And that happens quite often to where you're like, all right, it's going to be 10 grand, and then they just ghost you. It's like, what? And they're just gone, right? Once again, you just follow the process that you put in place, and you now respond to them when they ghost you. So that's 10 and 11, right? All right, Elaine said, your material is great. Thanks, Elaine. Any other questions about what you guys need to have set up? This is how I hit 7 figures. This is literally how I hit 7 figures. I just followed this process. I built it out once, and I just kept doing it over and over and over again. It's the same way that I built a 7-figure online business where I said, all right, let me build out a system saying, here's the ads, here's the lead magnet, here's a thank you page, here's the broadcast emails, bam. And it's just a system. So if you set up your system and you keep following it and you keep improving upon it, that's how you get to 7 figures. That's how you build your business. So, and I do want to point out, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. You will not get booked within 14 days. Like, there's no way you could absolutely get booked in 14 days. What we're doing is we're setting up your system. So it's just like, we're just setting up your CRM. We're putting all your email templates in place. We're setting it up, and then I'm going to help you practice with steps 5 through 11. So you're going to practice by contacting them, and we'll talk about it inside of the group. But yeah, so essentially I want to point that out. I mean, I know there are a lot of crazy people inside of like on my list, like crazy people who are like, hey, I didn't get booked in 2 days. Like, what the heck? So I know there's a lot of crazy people out there. And so I want to point this out. I want to be very clear about everything that I do. Number one, I have the best speaker trainer in the world. So that's number one. That's a true fact because I said so and my mom said so. So number one. Number 2 is with this process is we're going to set up your systems. And then number 3, I want to point out you're either in or you're out. This isn't a whole what's your money back guarantee stuff. You're either in or you're out. Now that's how I do it with all my programs. I'm looking for the people who say this is what I'm going to do for a living, and I don't care if it takes me 20 years to figure this out. I'm going to freaking figure it out. Those are the people who succeed. I see it all the time because whenever people experience any sort of frustration, they tend to give up. And those are the people that I want to just say, don't even join to begin with. If you experience some level of frustration and you instantly give up, please do not join anything. Like, not even my program. Don't join anyone's programs, because in business you will be frustrated like 90% of the time. Like 90% of the time, your website might go down, and like all sorts of stuff is going to happen. In fact, look at all the businesses who got frustrated with Facebook's recent changes, that whole scandal thing that happened in Facebook. They just cut off access to a lot of stuff and like literally destroyed like 8-figure businesses and stuff. So you just got to think that frustration is going to happen no matter what. You got to get used to it, and you got to act like a real entrepreneur. Do not blame other people for your lack of implementation. So that's what it comes down to. And so we're going to basically just implement for 14 days straight. For 2 weeks, we're just going to implement. We're going to put this process in place. You will have your CRM set up, your pipeline set up. You'll have your event system set up. So if you're not a SpeakPro Academy member, go to SpeakProAcademy.com and join SpeakPro Academy. And any questions, go ahead and ask them now. I will wait a couple seconds about any questions. And while I'm waiting, I will go over those steps once again. Step number 1, event profile. Step number 2, CRM setup. Step number 3, email templates setup. Step number 4, finding the events document setup. Step number 5, you build your list of leads. Step number 6, you contact those leads. Step number 7 is you pitch those leads. Step number 8 is you follow up with those leads. Step number 9 is you convert it into a deal. Step number 10 is you quote your fee. Step number 11 is the money is in the bank. And once again, I can't stress the last part enough, the money in the bank. The gig is not yours until the money is in the bank. And the reason why I want to point this out is because it's happened to me several times. It's happened to people all over the business world, not just speakers, but a lot of people get excited. They're like, yes, I got it. I got the deal. It's closed. And then last minute, you're like, dang, that sucks. And it feels so bad the first time it happens to you because you get so excited. You're like, yes, my first $10,000 gig. What? And then all of a sudden they're like, we went with another speaker. Sorry. What? And so the gig is not yours until the money is in the bank. And the way my system is set up is that you get 50% of the deposit, like you get 50% up front, and then you get the rest of the 50% when you show up. So you have 100% before you step on the stage. And even then, we talk about how to get 100% of it, like in the very beginning, right? So that's kind of the process, right? All right, so let's see. Any other questions about the process? Let's see, so John said, for real, yes, save your money if you're just chasing the latest shiny thing. Yep, exactly. So this is a great program full of great content and works really well when applied. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I really can't stress the application part. This became very clear to me about the people who do not apply when I did the industry icon thing. A lot of people applied it. But then there were people who didn't even post inside of the group. They didn't post. They didn't send me an email, nothing. Like I didn't even know they joined the program. And then all of a sudden, they would just send an email like, hey, yeah, so this isn't working for me. I'm like, did you buy the program? Did you buy the thing? What the heck? I was like, so I would reply like saying, why didn't you post inside of the group? Why didn't you send me an email? Like, why didn't you ask questions or something? Like, if you sit down and you watch a video, you sit down and you just go to YouTube or you just watch something, nothing will happen. You have enough knowledge. You know enough. You now have to start implementing. You have to start putting these systems in place. And so you have to put your CRM in place. You have to have your pipeline in place. You have to have all these documents and email templates in place. If you do not have that in place, do not say you know this stuff. I don't care what you know. I'm interested in what you do. I'm interested in, do you have Facebook ads? Do you have Google ads? What are you actually writing in your email pitches? What does your pipeline look like? I want to see videos. I want to see pictures of what you're doing. Always, always, always think implementation. It's not about knowledge. That sound like, you know who I'm talking about, knowledge. Any other questions about what you guys should be doing in terms of your process or anything? I will wait for a couple seconds. We are coming up on an hour right now. I'll wait for a few seconds and see any questions. Let's see. All right, Benji's the greatest. All right, the most amazing person in the world. Oh, he's so beautiful. Okay, man, I wish all my kids looked like him. Okay, great comments, great comments. Yeah, I would love to. All right, so let's see. Betsy said, because of Benji's system, I just booked an $8,000 keynote. Yep. Yeah, Betsy implements. Like a lot of the people like Betsy, Dave, Alio, a lot of these guys, they implement inside of the program. Brent, like he was implemented with Industry Icon as well. A lot of these people that when they implement, they get results. So it just comes down to implementation. I do want to point out with implementation, if you're not frustrated, then that means you're not doing it right. So when you do something new, you will be frustrated. It's just a fact, just because you're just not used to it. No one goes from being a beginner to being a pro instantly. It's a matter of practice. You just keep doing it over and over, and when you do it over and over, you start to get more efficient with it. And so it's just like let's say email templates, right? You can copy and paste these email templates, and then you can have your pitch all set up. But the only way you get good at it is when you start pitching all the time, and then you start to realize that there are commonalities between how people respond. And then you'll see when people say, actually, I think Elio posted inside of the group about someone who responded. And let me see if I can find this thing. But he posted someone who responded, and then what you essentially do, all right, yeah, so he said, let's see, I've been following this organizer. All right, yeah, so the person said, so he said yes, And does he charge a fee? Okay, yeah, so he contacted the organizer, and the organizer said, like, yeah, they bring in speakers, and they asked, like, does he charge a fee, as this could be an icebreaker, all right? Now, I've heard this a million times. Like, whenever people respond to you, and they say, like, oh, well, does he charge? We don't really have much of a budget. Oh, this could be an icebreaker. Oh, we don't know if we can spend that much. What does he charge? So when people do this, what happens is they know that they're doing that, so you will decrease your fee. So if your fee is normally $10,000 and they say that to you, they say, yes, we hire speakers, but does he charge? Because this could be an icebreaker. So they know that by doing that, you're going to decrease your fee. You're going to be like, well, normally I say $10,000, so all right, maybe I'll go to $3,000 because I really want this gig, right? So I know that events do this, and it happens a million times, or nonprofits do this all the time. Nonprofits are like, we're a nonprofit. We just don't really have a ton of money to spend, which is a flat-out lie, by the way. But I know that when they do that, because I've been doing this for so long, I know how to respond to it. And so what happens is you have to keep thinking. About you are practicing so you can get used to people responding in that way, and you can get used to how you need to go about doing it, how you need to go about replying to things like that. So any questions about anything? Let's see, Glenn said, keep losing you today. Yeah, I don't know what's up. I don't know if it's my end or what. But yeah, Glenn, that's basically how you get a free Lamborghini. I guess when you lost me there, you might have missed the code. But yeah, so any other questions? Let's see, David said, when you send out the emails, do you send them out as first person or third person? So when I send out the emails, I think in terms of you want to send it out as it's best if you can have someone else send it for you, because when someone else is talking, when someone else is pitching David, someone's like, hey, I work for David, and David is the greatest motivational speaker in the world. When someone else is pitching for you, they can say things that you personally can't say, or it's more believable when someone else is talking about you rather than you talking about you. So it's best to have someone else say, David, I work for David, and he's the greatest motivational speaker in the world. And it's just more believable when someone else is talking about you, rather than you saying, hi, my name is David, I'm the greatest motivational speaker in the world. So it just sounds better when they're like, hey, David's the greatest motivational speaker in the world. So yeah, third person, well, yeah, that's always better. So John said, hey, Benji, is there a suggested setup for bass? Yeah, so we're going to go over all that next Monday, John. So basically, we're going to go over, it doesn't really matter what CRM you use, by the way. And in fact, even if you don't have a CRM, like you don't have money to pay for a CRM, you can just use HubSpot. HubSpot has a free CRM. But basically, we're going to go over all this stuff in terms of the setup and everything. But there is no the suggested method is going to be what we're going to talk about next Monday. So that's essentially you're going to set up your lead score, you're going to set up your email templates, you're going to set up your pipeline. All CRMs have a pipeline. That's what the CRMs do. So all that's going to change is the look and feel of your CRM. So if you're using base CRM, then I can probably help you out more, just because I know the layout of base. If you're using Salesforce, you might have to figure out where the settings to create the custom fields, but all CRMs allow you to do this. All CRMs allow you to create a pipeline. They allow you to change custom fields. All CRMs allow you to do that. Any questions? Any other questions about anything, about getting on stages or anything? I'll wait for a couple seconds here. Let's see. Yeah, so John said, thanks, switching back to base. Want to get the right fields in place. Yeah, John, what are you using right now? Once again, so I want to point out that the CRM you use, it doesn't matter. Like the actual CRM, it doesn't matter. It's kind of just like which one you personally want and like the look that you like, I guess. What matters is having the system set up. And so that's the only thing that matters. What matters is you as the salesperson, you as a speaker. So do you follow the system? That's all that matters. You set up your system once, and you just follow it, and you follow it so you can get more efficient at it. So that's all that matters. Base CRM, I mean, there are cool aspects of it, but the basics is that you just have your system set up. Any other questions about anything? Any questions about anything? For those of you who just joined, we gave away free Lamborghinis to everybody, so you guys should have joined earlier. I wish you would have been here earlier. Let's see. Prospect works. Oh, okay, and Pipe Drive. Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean Pipe Drive is actually pretty good. I've never heard of the other one, but yeah, like in terms of John, if you can afford to get base, that's cool. But either way, the actual CRM, it really doesn't matter in terms of actual CRM. You can use any CRM. Any other questions about anything before we're done here? Any questions? Any questions? I'll wait for a few seconds. By the way, guys, make sure you join the SpeakPro Academy if you guys if you want help with the whole bootcamp session that we're going to do on the 16th, next Monday. So we start at 10 a.m. We're going to do this every day, and we're going to set up your system. So by the end of the 14 days, you'll have your entire pipeline, your entire event, CRM, everything set up the right way. So next Monday, April 16th, we're going to set it all up. So join the SpeakPro Academy, SpeakProAcademy.com. You guys can pay for the monthly version, which is $2.99 a month right now. It may increase later on, but it's $2.99 a month for the monthly version, or it's $5,000 for the lifetime access. And yeah, and any other questions? Let's see. Todd said, I've always wanted to send mine first person. Should I really change to third? What if they think it's you? Yeah, this is one of those the what ifs. You don't want to play the what if game, right? So everyone plays a what if game, and you'll never lose. Like you can always ask what if, but you'll always lose that game. You always lose playing that game. Third person is just more effective, just because they can say things that you can't. So if they say, I would love to talk to Todd on the phone, so let's say you're sending in first person, right? And they say, hey, Todd, let's talk on the phone. And you go, all right, cool, let's do it. Or you say, like, no, I don't really want to talk on the phone, right? They're going to be like, what an a-hole. No, we're not going to hire this guy. But let's say it's in third person, and let's say Jane is sending emails, and Jane is getting Todd booked. And so they asked Jane, they're like, hey, Jane, we would love to talk to Todd before we actually, book him, right? What Jane can do is Jane can talk about like, I would love to, but Todd is insanely busy, and he requires a deposit before he actually starts customizing a presentation. So Jane can turn down a request to talk on the phone, and that's exactly what happens. Try to call up Tony Robbins right now and try to get him on the phone. And what's going to happen is you won't be able to unless you give a deposit for the actual speaking gig. And it's because he's like way up there, right? So what third person can do is third person can essentially it increases your perceived value. It's like what I talked about a while ago where I said on the contact page, I put for media inquiries, contact this email, because that increases your perceived value. When they see that, they're like, dang, this person, they have an entire email address just for media inquiries. They must be pretty big. And so it's little things like that that can increase your perceived value. That's why third person is just more effective. Any other questions about what you guys should be doing? Any other questions? Any questions? All right, I will wait a couple more seconds. But yeah, guys, SpeakProAcademy.com. I'll do whatever it takes to help you guys get on stages other than literally doing the work for you. But yeah, I mean, any SpeakPro member will tell you that I just help everyone out inside of the program, whether it's with your website, whether it's with the event finder section, like finding the events. And I mean, we help you set up all the systems that you need to put in place. We help you go through your pitch. We help you contact them. We help everything. As long as you are active inside of the group, right? I cannot help you if you do not post, if you do not talk, if you do not call in every single week. I can't help you if all you do is if you just invest and then I never hear from you again. I want people to post inside of the group. I want people to show up to the calls because that's the only way I can really help you. It's the only way I can get you focused on what you need to get done, whether it's like, hey, fix your website, or whether it's, hey, put your ad copy like this. So you have to start posting in the group when you become a SpeakPro Academy member. So what is the video schedule? Saturday, Monday. Barbara, in terms of video schedule, do you mean like when are we doing the boot camp session? So the boot camp session is going to be starting April 16th. I think it's going to be 10 a.m. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 10 a.m. You'll see an email about it tomorrow. April 16th, 10 a.m. every single day for 14 days straight. So it's going to be every day at 10 a.m. for 14 days straight. Maybe 9 a.m. Don't quote me until tomorrow. But it's going to be every day for 14 days straight. So let's see. So Donald said, I did a speech for the first time ever at a school a month ago. All right, I got some video and great feedback, but no testimonials. Should I reach out to other schools with only the knowledge of speaking at the other schools? So Donald, if this is a local school, so let's see. So I did a speech for a school first time. Yeah, so if it's local, then I would just go back there. I would just drive back there, and then I would just go to the principal. Hey, I forgot to get a testimonial from you. Can I get a testimonial real quick? And so I would just go back there and just try to get testimonials. That's what I would do. But basically, this is one of the reasons why I tell everyone to join the SpeakPro Academy, because when you miss out like that, there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's like imagine that, I don't know, imagine your favorite celebrity says, hey, let's meet tomorrow, and then you miss out on that meeting. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. On the other hand, if you knew what to do beforehand, now you can just squeeze every opportunity out of it as possible. So it's one of the reasons why I tell speakers, join the SpeakPro Academy, because I'll show you guys how to be more effective with everything you're doing. So let's see. Yeah, so Betsy Allen said, SpeakPro has been one of the best online communities out there. Yep, cool, thanks, Betsy. Alan said, should a video clip be placed on the first pitch? No. Well, so what you're doing on your pitch is you're just sending them to your website. This is why I keep talking about how you need to have a great website. So if you send out emails in terms of like sending a video in there and stuff like that, then it'll probably just go straight to spam. So what you want to do is you just want to say, like, you just want to send a link to your website so they can click on your website and then watch the videos and just be hella impressed by your website. Your website is basically your sales page. Your website says, hey, I charge 15 grand for a speech. This is why my speech is worth 15 grand, as you can see from the website and all the videos and everything. So that's what you want to show people. That's what convinces people. All right, cool, guys. So it has been an hour. Thanks, everybody, for showing up, and that is the process. You guys can watch this again. I will send an email out tomorrow, but go to SpeakProAcademy.com, and I will help you guys with the entire process. I'll help you guys get on stages, your website, everything that you're doing. SpeakPro Academy right now, it's only $2.99 a month. If the price changes, the price will always go up. I do want to point that out. The price will always go up. So SpeakProAcademy.com, and on April 16th, we will be doing a 14 days straight, starting April 16th, 14 days straight, building out your event system to get your pipeline in place, to get everything set up for you guys to get on stages consistently. Caroline said, damn, Missy, will there be a replay? Caroline, you missed. I gave everybody Lamborghinis. I gave them free mansions. Everyone, I mean, we're about to go on a helicopter ride and a private jet ride. You missed it. But yeah, there will be a replay. So the replay is actually on the Speaking Lifestyle page. So if you click like on the Speaking Lifestyle business page, the fan page, you guys will see all the notifications for the Facebook Lives. You guys will be able to watch the replays and everything. But unless you watch the live video sessions, you will not get the free Lamborghinis. You will not get the mansions. You won't get the private jets. But yeah, sorry, Caroline. But thanks, everybody, for showing up. I will see you guys pretty soon. We will do plenty of these Facebook Live sessions. So thanks, everybody, for showing up.